Hello everyone, today I'd like to share with you how to create a basic sloper or A-line skirt in Marvelous Designer. I chose to show you the sloper skirt because it will give you a good foundation and you can go on to create any type of skirt you'd like. First, we have to measure our avatar. In the initial pop-up, you'll see a measurements tab. Take note of the waist and the hip measurements. Okay, so now we need to do some custom measurements. First, I'll delete these pattern pieces. So we need to go to Avatar, Measurements, Edit Measurements. Now, we want to find the waist to knee and waist to hip measurement. So we'll try and select that waist to floor tape and then position it at the knee or just above. And then we'll position it at the widest point of the hip. Now, it's tempting to say that this is the widest point of the hip, but really the widest point is a little bit higher up, right at that other tape. Okay, so now we're ready to begin. Click the rectangle tool and right-click on the workspace to create a box with the width of 1/4 the avatar's waistline and a height of the waist to knee measurement. So now we have our first pattern piece, and I'm just going to position it right over our avatar's shadow. Then we are going to grab the Edit Pattern tool and click on the outside edge of our skirt and add a point that is our waist to hip measurement, so 180 millimeters down. Next, we're going to raise the side of our skirt up by 10 millimeters. And clearly, I was having a little bit of trouble with this because it is such a small increment that we're lifting up that outside point. Once we do that, we're going to right-click on the waistline and add a point at 50%. Next, we're going to add 2 points to the right and left of that point that are 10 millimeters away. And we're going to pull down that middle point to about our widest point of the hip point. And so now we have a dart. Next, we're going to create another box to use as a guide for pulling out our hip point. So the box should have a width of 1/4 our hip measurement, which is about 220 millimeters. And we'll place that box accordingly. Then move out the hip point. Finally, we'll round out the hip using the Edit Round Corner tool. And the front is done. So we just need to copy and symmetric paste the front. And we do use symmetric paste here because theoretically, if we had to make any changes, this would make it happen on both sides. Next, we'll copy the front again and we'll just paste it for our back. So first we're going to need to delete that dart. So we'll delete all the points involved, the 3 of them. Then we're going to place a new point that's 25% away from the inner edge of the skirt, or 75% away from that outer point. Okay, next we need to place 2 new points on the right and left that are 15 millimeters away from that first point. And again, we will pull down that middle point to about the widest point of the hip. And it's okay if we're not perfect because unlike in real life, Marvelous is pretty forgiving, and we'll copy and paste that back. So now we've finished with our pattern pieces and we're ready to place them on our avatar and stitch them up. So first, I'm placing the pattern pieces roughly where they need to go. And then I'm turning on my arrangement points. So these points will help snap my pattern pieces, right to where they need to be on my avatar. And it's a little bit of a guessing game to figure out, which arrangement point you need to use. There we go. So I'll need to do that to all 4 pattern pieces. So I've gone ahead and I've snapped all 4 of my pattern pieces to my arrangement points. Lastly, we need to sew up our seams. So we're going to click on the sewing segment tool and then click on the edges that correspond with each other. And don't forget to sew your darts together. And you can see in the 3D view the lines indicating, where everything is attached to each other. And it looks good, so we're just going to go ahead and simulate. And we're done. So from here you can make many edits to the skirt to change the design. You can add more darts, panels, pull out some points to add volume, etc. I hope you found this helpful, and good luck in designing in Marvelous Designer.